Welcome to Inside the Builder's Hut. Today, we're gonna dive into one of the hottest and most debated features in Clash right now, crafted defenses. We'll be talking about our goals for the future, balancing, future plans, and much more. We're also gonna have a very special guest joining us today who will bring burning questions from you, the community. So let's just jump right in. Okay, Seth, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It's always exciting to be inside the builder's hut.
Right? Yeah, it's so cozy here.
It's a lot bigger than it looks from the outside.
Right? So, crafted defenses. New feature came out about 10 days ago, the time of this recording. And how are they doing? Are they balanced? Are there any concerns? How things are going so far?
Well, yeah, at the moment recording, it's been out less than 2 weeks, so we're still kind of in that first impression phase of it. But the first impression so far, from a balancing perspective, has been really exciting. You know, we were testing these 3 different crafted defenses. They're very different. I mean, the flame spinner and the hook tower are completely different mechanics, and we were worried, like, how would players use these or interact with them? So I got some numbers to share with you. There have been over 71 million battles with seasonal defenses since we've launched the update. In those, 51% of people are using flame spitter, 29% of people are using hook tower, and 19% are using crusher mortar, with the last percent, you know.
Yeah, of course.
So about 50, 30, 20. Really nice spread. It seems that every one of these defenses has, you know, a fan or somebody who really likes it. So yeah, overall, from a gameplay perspective, we're really excited about how it's giving players more variety in the defenses, allowing you to customize your defense a little bit in a way that wasn't really accessible to other town halls before.
We know that's great, but there's much more than there's the balancing, right?
There's more.
There's more.
Okay.
And this part is a bit more tricky. We're going to talk about player concerns. Okay. So the first thing is about them being temporary. How do you feel about temporary defenses? Why temporary? What was the goal here?
Sure. The crafted defenses and really the supercharges any of the temporary content that we're doing, this is something that we are really working on in order to make the game great for new players and existing players. So let's step back. A few years ago, a new player who was trying to get to, say, Town Hall 15 when that was the max, it might take you 6 years from install to get there. That's way too long. If you enjoy Clash of Clans and you want your friend to play with you, that's too much of a gap for them to ever really catch up. So we started doing this thing where we were slashing the costs and timers of tons of the old content so that you could get through it. But then there's also this problem of, well, what about max Town Hall players? Do we have enough content for them to stay engaged and interested between Town Hall 15 and 16, 16, 17, 17, and 18, and so on? So the reason why we think temporary content like this is really good is it gives max Town Hall players something to do, tons of upgrades, things to really build and invest into. However, when we move to Town Hall 18, and now you've got players trying to catch up and get through Town Hall 17, they don't have this huge backlog of permanent content that they need to upgrade. We saw this maybe the most prominently in like Town Hall 12, where there's double levels, because that was our attempt then, years ago, of how do we give enough content to max Town Hall players? The problem is that now people going through Town Hall 12 have these double levels that doesn't feel good. So we're trying to strike that balance here with temporary content so that max Town Hall players have infinite stuff to do while waiting for the next Town Hall. However, once we move on past that Town Hall, players years from now won't see Town Hall 17 as this slog of, you know, infinite upgrades that they can't get through.
Absolutely. And I think that's an important topic because it leads to my next question, actually. Because one of the concerns we've seen so far is, okay, temporary, but does that mean that that's the direction moving forward now? Like, are no longer seeing permanent upgrades for Max Town Hall? Is that where we're going with now?
I mean, obviously not, right? Like, Town Hall 17 has tons of permanent upgrades. We have new levels for all the defenses in there, and we're gonna do that with every new Town Hall. Temporary content is not meant to take away from permanent content. It's meant to be sort of, you know, additive on top of it. And of course, players who are still progressing, you should prioritize the permanent content. Like, no one's going to tell you that the temporary that you should supercharge a gold collector before upgrading your monolith, right? Like, yeah, do your monolith, right? But you can understand the balance here, right? We want to make sure that once you're starting to run out of permanent content, there is something that you can keep investing into, keep having your builders active, because Clash is a progression game. It is fun to keep upgrading your base. We've noticed that when players do get maxed out, they get that little no more upgrades available on their builder hut. It's cool. for about 2 weeks. And then it kind of is like, why am I battling? What am I doing this for, as there's nothing more to progress on? So we want to make sure that we have a nice balance between a ton of progression for these maxed out players with 6 builders who are like looking for stuff to upgrade, but not making it so that a Town Hall 12 looks ahead and goes, I'm never gonna be able to get there. This allows us to release new town halls filled with temporary content and then aggressively cut the timers and costs of old town halls so that new players can get to those max town halls in maybe 2 years instead of 6 years.
Are we happy though with the current situation in the sense of like costs, time, duration of the season? Is this like the place we're landing on? Is like, okay, this is good to go, we're sticking with this, or not?
Season 1 is season 1, right? Like anything, when you go out for the first time, you don't exactly know what the right mark is. So we decided on 3-month seasons. Maybe that's too long or too short. We're not really sure. Maybe 3 different building types. Maybe it should be 2, maybe it should be 4. You know, maybe the upgrades should be fewer or more per level. We're still working on that. So any of the tension we've seen in the community around these specific costs and timers, that's good. Let us know. Like, the more you tell us, the more we find out what the right numbers are, but nothing in this first season is locked in. One of the reasons we decided to do a 3-month season is that gives us plenty of time to see how players are doing and react to it for season 2. When we make these 1-month, gold pass seasons, we're already working on the next season when this season launches, so it's hard to react quickly. But with a 3-month season, we can take these learnings from season 1 and implement them right away in season 2.
Okay, I think that's a relief for a lot of players because I think that's one of the big concerns we've seen so far as well. So it's good that we're gonna react on whatever we're seeing, feedback and everything. So yes, please keep sharing feedback because, as you said, it's the first season, right? It's really hard to just get things right in the first try. So we're gonna keep learning and adapting. I think we had a good discussion so far, but I think we can spice things up a little bit, and we need to bring some of the questions and concerns from players that we've seen so far everywhere. So, but to do that, I think we need to invite a special guest who's gonna take over and represent the community for us.
Ooh, the community's here.
Exactly, the community's here today. So for this episode, we're gonna have Judo's Loft joining us and representing the community. Thank you for being here today, Judo.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to asking the community's concerns regarding the crafted defenses.
Yeah, I know you're bringing some very interesting questions, so please fire them away.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say because, like you said, there has been a lot of concerns from the community. I think the biggest one that I've seen is from a free-to-play perspective. It just takes way too long to max one of these, that once you do, they're getting removed a short time after. So do you have any ideas on how to improve this?
To the community, we hear you loud and clear. As I mentioned with Ferry earlier, this first season is a test season in a way. Like, we're trying to see what the right amount of upgrades, costs, timers, and all that are. There are some things that we have planned for the next 1 or 2 updates that will address some of these concerns, but as we're recording just 10 days after the update came out, it's a bit too early for us to really confirm or promise anything specific for the next update. But it is on our mind. It's something that we're talking about every day, and definitely we want you to be able to max out a crafted defense and use it and feel good about it for the duration of the season. So we're going to try to figure out ways to make that better for all players.
Yeah, I think maybe the communication on that side of things, that this is the first season, it's a test, this is the goals in mind, that could have definitely been given upfront. And now that we are in the position we are, we've seen a lot of solutions from the community on this, whether that be having the defenses not all rotate out together, getting tokens towards the next season, making sure you can upgrade more than one module at a time, or my favorite solution that I've seen is where players would just get given a hammer for free to max one of the defenses. And what that would do is mean that free-to-play players aren't left behind. They almost get to look forward to this, that they get one of these defenses for free, and yet players that do invest money on the game, they do have the advantage of flexibility. It keeps maxed players having something to do, but you also get that balance between players that do spend money on the game and players that aren't able to spend money on the game. So what are your thoughts on any of those solutions, or like what do you have in mind
those are all great ideas. And, Fairy does a great job collecting all the community feedback from all the different social media channels and funneling it to the team. We've had a lot of really intense discussions this week. It's, still right after release about which of this feedback we can do or not do. It's still a bit too early in the next update cycle to confirm anything, but we hear you. And definitely some of these ideas we really, really like. We just can't be specific right now in late June.
You talked about it earlier in the episode, how one of your goals is to allow free-to-play players to actually catch up. However, a big concern that I've seen, and I did read one comment that was really well constructed, that said, yes, players quit the game when they are maxed. So this is good to give them something to do. But a big subset of players will quit the game when they believe they will never be maxed. So even though you are trying to allow people to go through the permanent content faster, people still want to max their base. And if they don't have the temporary content maxed, then they're not maxed in their eyes, right? And a lot of players seen this as a tipping point, as I'm never going to get to the point of getting that maxed. So again, what do you feel about getting that balance of, even if it's mathematically possible, it's really that expectation that players can be maxed that I feel was maybe just thrown off a bit with this edition.
Yeah, we're still feeling it out. I will say that it's possible we go too far with temporary content. We are trying to find out what the right limit is for a max Town Hall player to stay and feel busy while keeping that sense that when we move to Town Hall 17, you're not going to have to do all the same stuff that a max Town Hall 17 player had done. So it's possible that crafted defenses kind of are the limit of temporary content, and that we'll have to pull back on cost, timers, whatever, to make it feel great for players. But we want to push the limits. We want to find out where that limit is instead of just stopping too early and having people constantly run out of content.
Yeah, well, I think that's great to hear that at least you are listening to the community. I mean, we have seen time and time again when you've made an addition and the community's response has not been great, that you fixed it. So I think there is a bit of trust and grace that you will make the appropriate adjustments here to get everyone happy. And I think we can also appreciate that you do need the time in order to see that data. But again, thank you for addressing the concerns. And it's great to hear that you are receptive of the feedback and that the frustration that people voice isn't just gone into the void, right? You are really listening to it. You do want to improve the game. And I would obviously thank you on behalf of the community for actually listening and trying to improve things.
And of course, we have a perspective of this maybe longer term data that we've seen in the past. So just for context, there was about a 2.5 year period where we didn't do any more max town halls. And during that time, a lot of people ran out of stuff to do. We lost a lot of players. We started moving to the annual town hall updates because that gives a lot of content for people to, at max town hall, to get through. And just as they're running out, the new town hall comes out. But we were finding that even with one town hall a year, we had to rush a lot of updates out. We had to go, maybe we should add more Tesla Tower upgrades because people aren't going to have enough stuff between update 1 and update 2. So temporary content allows us to actually lessen the amount of permanent content that we do in every update. We can lean more on supercharges, crafted defenses, and not have it so that every update is just pushing as many permanent upgrades on you as possible. So we're hoping that we find a really nice balance of this, where players who want to focus on their permanent content find that they can actually complete all the permanent content between updates, and then they have some period of time to invest in temporary content. Of course, the most engaged players will do that faster and can really go all in on the crafted defenses and supercharges. And for players who are a bit more casual, they're able to get the permanent upgrade, have that sense of I am maxed on permanent content, and then optionally, how much more do I want to supercharge my base?
I think it is just always trying to get that balance for all players. Clash is a very global game. We have a huge amount of players that play the game in a different way, and that's a really good thing, but it's obviously trying to get that balance for everyone. And like I said, I have confidence. I'm sure you'll get there and achieve the team's goals, make this fun for everybody. And yeah, I just think maybe having the forefront communication in the future would be a good thing. And then also,
that was definitely a
continuing to listen to the feedback and make the adjustments that you are. So thank you for having me on again. It's great to at least be able to voice all of those concerns from the community and hopefully get the answers that they desired.
All right, thank you for being here, Judah. Really appreciate your time and for representing the community here today. And you're also doing your interview series, right? This month.
Yes.
You already talked to some members of the team, yours truly included, and there's more coming as well. So if you want to see a more in-depth conversation about this topic and more, actually, and more,
A lot more.
so go watch the video series. It's super cool. Seth is a guest and many other people from the team. So be there. Thank you, Seth, as well. Thank you for being here.
Of course, always happy to be here. And again, the community is what makes Clash one of the best games in the world. We want to be the biggest strategy game in the world. The only way to do that is a happy and healthy community. So keep giving us the feedback, and we're gonna build this game together.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for addressing the community concerns again.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you in the next episode of Inside the Builder's Hut.